Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for stopping back into my channel. It's good to see you guys. Welcome. So as you can tell by today's title, and I've actually written this down because I've got some points that I do want to kind of go through, and it's things I've learned in my 20s. Now, I have been seeing a lot of these videos here and there where people just talk about their experiences with their 20s and things they wish they knew or things they've learned, and I thought that was actually a really good idea to do for this video, because I'm sure many of us will kind of go through this phase, and there's lots of things you do know. I feel like 20s is definitely one of those chapters in your life where really you make so many different experiences and so many things, different things happen, and you find out things about yourself. So I just thought, let me just do like a quick video of things I've learned in my 20s. So if you're interested, don't be shy, come and stick around and we'll get right into it. But before we do that, make sure you follow me on all of my social media platforms, and also don't forget to subscribe, guys. Like, join us, like, let's just continue this on. You guys are so welcome. So yeah, make sure you definitely hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So one of the things I've learned in my 20s is that and this is, I'm just speaking generally, by the way, I'm not saying this is definitely gonna happen. I'm just saying things that I definitely experienced, and I'm sure many others have as well. So one of the things is that your friendship groups will decrease, and that's definitely okay. Actually, this was not, I wouldn't say a shock, but it would just more so like, you obviously, when you grow up, you know that loads of people, like, they have different life experiences, and a lot of them will either move abroad, they would move out of town, they will go off to have kids, they'll get married and all this kind of stuff. So lots of things do tend to happen in this period, and along with that, friendships could change for those reasons, or it just could be like you realize that you're not actually compatible with the friend that you've known for years, and something happens and then you just don't end up speaking. But one thing I've realized about friendship groups is that it is normal for friendship groups to go smaller, and that is okay. That is definitely okay, and that's just lifing. Like, people make different decisions. Like I mentioned, some will move abroad, they might have kids, so they might not have enough time, or priorities change, and you know, you don't have that same relationship like you did, so it tends to get smaller. So this is just to let you know, anyone that is also on their like that 20s journey, that had that 20s journey, is that yeah, your friendship group may decrease, and that's absolutely fine. It just means that those who are still with you during those 20s, you definitely want to just hold on to them, make time for each other, and yeah, and just kind of continue on with that friendship. Of course, like, none of us know exactly how long friendships last. For some of us that are lucky, we've known our friends for many years, and some people, they meet friends, you know, in like a year, and they're like the best of friends. So it just really depends on the dynamic and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all okay. Like, don't worry, friendship, even if they do decrease and you might not speak to everyone that you did in your first friendship group, that's absolutely fine. Like, you're still on this journey of life. Some people, they're extremely close to the people in their past, and they're still on that journey with them. So it's just, doesn't matter, like, everyone has their own journey. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. The next one is career change. Now, I'm sure many of us can definitely relate to this. When we was kind of like in school, we had an idea of what we wanted to do, and maybe some of us didn't, but I would say for me, I definitely knew exactly what I wanted to do. And when you kind of reach that reality, when you kind of get out of that school phase and you're actually in the world of work and things like that, realize that some of like your passions, it wasn't feasible, pretty much. Like, most of you who've been with me on this journey already, or have known a little bit about me, that I was actually training to be an actress. Like, I had an agent and everything. I went to drama school for like, I want to say 3-4 years. So I was very dedicated to making acting my career. But one thing I wish they told us in advance, or just to school us really about the industry, is that First of all, most of the time you won't be employed. I think there was like this statistic that I've seen that apparently 99% of actors are not in work. Only 1% of actors are working. So that's a crazy statistic. And then when I realized, like, getting into the field, it was actually true. Like, you are auditioning a lot. Like, I was auditioning a lot, and I was thinking, if I do want to get my own place and, you know, all this other stuff, how am I going to do that with acting? Like, how am I going to manage this? And some people are lucky, they have family members, because I remember when I was in drama school, there was like family members who were actually paying for their school. They didn't have to worry about it. Maybe a lot of them are still with their parents, so they don't have to worry about paying bills and stuff like that if they're a working actor. So everyone has different circumstances, but I just felt like it got real when I realized, like, if I need like a stable income, acting is just not going to provide that for me. And then obviously getting into it, I didn't really enjoy like the political side of acting. I just it wasn't clicking for me. Like, I still enjoyed film, theatre and all that kind of stuff, but actually working as an actor, I just knew it just wasn't for me at all. So that's kind of why I decided to kind of lean away from it and move into journalism. So yeah, and that happened in my 20s. Like, that whole shift in my career happened in my 20s. So a lot of you might also experience the same thing, and it's okay to try different things. And I feel like, especially in current times, like, we are lucky to be able to just try different careers. Like, we don't have to stick with one path like it was like back in the day. Like, a lot of people would stick with kind of one career path and they'll be there in the same job for like 30-40 years. But I feel like now there's loads of shifts and changes, so I feel like it's good to embrace that as well. So yeah, and that's absolutely fine as well. Like, if you do decide to change your career in your 20s, even in 30s, 40s, etc., like, it's completely fine. Like, you want to make sure that you're just following your passion and doing exactly what you want to do. The next thing, and it's actually so hot, oh, it is very, very hot, very, very hot. But the next thing is, one thing I've learned in my 20s is like the triggers. So I've realized as well that, you know, there's certain things that you realize that you're just not okay with. I feel like I've learned that in my 20s. And that's actually, I realize, a normal process as well, because you're still learning yourself as well. And sometimes you need to be put into positions to know that this is not okay and things like that. So I feel like in that sort of time frame, you do tend to learn things, what you like, what you don't like, what you're okay to accept, what you're definitely not okay to accept with as well. And I think that's so important, because kind of going from that 20s into your 30s and 40s and later, it really does frame your life, and you do want to get to a point where you've made your mistakes, you've learned from the past, and then you're kind of moving into you know, your path where you're just more solid, you're happy with your decisions, and things like that. So yeah, I think you would definitely learn your triggers in your 20s, and you would learn what you won't accept at all. And yeah, they always say like 20s is like the time where many people make their mistakes, and they probably still do later on, but I feel like most of the time it happens when you're kind of this is like your first sort of introduction into the adult world, so you're bound to make mistakes of loads of different things. So yeah, I think you will definitely learn your triggers, but one thing that's important is what you learn from that moving forward as well. The next thing is heartbreak. Now, I'm sure many of us have definitely experienced heartbreak at one point in life. Most commonly, I think, is normally like I mentioned before, you know, coming into the world, the adult world and things like that. I feel one thing that, you know, heartbreak teaches us is, like I mentioned, it's similar to the triggers thing. It's kind of like what you are willing to accept, what you're not willing to accept as well. And heartbreak is definitely a natural part of life as well, even though at the moment it might feel like your world is over and it's just the worst thing in the world, but you realize you do learn a lot of things from that moving forward. So I feel like it definitely plays a big part in not just romantic relationships, but just relationships with people in general. So as hard as it is at that point in time, just to embrace that feeling and to move on, knowing what you've learned, I think is absolutely so powerful. And again, this is absolutely okay, because I'm sure many of us have experienced it as well. But it's just, again, what you learn from that moving forward is what's important. And the last thing is health. Now, of course, and I'm again going to refer this back to myself, when you're in your 20s, like health is not really something that you're constantly thinking of. It's kind of just like, oh yeah, you want to maintain, you know, being healthy and stuff like that, and you hear it all the time. But it is very important, because I feel like when you start early on your health journey, and that doesn't mean going to the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week, because I'm not really a gym person. I'm not a gym person at all. Like, my sort of exercise comes in different forms, so it could just be walking, dancing. I like, you know, dancing a bit, doing some chores, being active that way, rather than actually going to the gym. So that's something that I prefer doing. But I would say, like, starting early is good. Like, you know, getting your health right, because obviously that's going to be so important taking on when you get older as well. You just want to make sure you stay in your best shape as well. But I think in general, just from what I've been seeing, that a lot of people, even young people, are like taking their health seriously. Like, I have been seeing like a lot of people do like walking clubs and things like that, where, you know, they bring a whole bunch of people together and they go on a trek, literally just walking for like 10 miles or something like that. I don't know the exact miles, but you know what I mean. They go on like long walks and stuff like that. So this whole sort of clubbing culture and stuff is definitely not as much as it was back in the day. So more people are conscious with health. So, and I think that's a good thing, you know, starting early is good, making sure your health and body is right. Because you only get one body, so you want to make sure that, you know, you take care of it as much as you can. So yeah, and I think that's one thing I learned as well, like just being a bit more health conscious in my 20s, then I can be really like active and things like that, because, you know, life is so quick. Like, you don't even realize like your 20s are gone, and then it's just like, oh, where did the time go? So I would say making sure your health is right, and finding what kind of health journey you want to take as well, and not just following people on social media because they're working out 6 days a week. Then you have to do that too. It's about learning your own body and knowing what's right for you, because exercise comes in different forms as well. Like, you might want to do some yoga, Pilates, stretches, or even just a general walk. So yeah, I would say that's one thing I learned as well. So that's it from me on some of the things I've learned in my 20s. Comment down below what's one thing you've learned in your 20s, or if you agreed or disagreed with some of my points, or if you want to add some of your points. Comments are definitely welcome. So yeah, that was fun to do. So if you are still interested, make sure you come back to my channel. I will be posting some more content. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you make sure you know what's next, and also to follow me on my social medias. Until next time.